As we all know, the Brooklyn Nets have been in many trade talks this NBA free agency, and it's really starting to heat up. We all know that Kevin Durant has requested a trade out of Brooklyn right after the recent news that Kyrie Irving opted into the season with the Brooklyn Nets, but Chris Haynes out of Yahoo Sports, an NBA insider, recently tweeted that the Los Angeles Lakers and Brooklyn Nets are actively engaged in trade discussions centered on a Russell Westbrook and Kyrie Irving trade package. Now, while all this was being tweeted and there was so much ruckus and news about Kyrie Irving going to the Lakers and a possible Russell Westbrook trade package, Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN has just dropped a bomb and has stated that these trade talks aren't really going anywhere and the Lakers aren't aggressive at all. In today's video, we're going to take a look at what's going on around this package and Woj's recent tweets about this news. But before we get onto the video, to stay updated on NBA free agency news and NBA news in general, please make sure to subscribe. We're on the road to 10K subscribers and I can't do it without you guys, so subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on the bell to stay tuned. And with all that being said, let's get right into the video. A couple days ago, as Chris Haynes reported, trade talks between the Lakers and Nets have been only preliminary, but he did drop some intel as what a potential trade could look like. So basically, a one-for-one swap between Irving and Westbrook doesn't work because the Nets would be acquiring too much in salary. So even with Kyrie Irving making $37 million next season, Westbrook is set to make $47 million. So the Nets would have to throw in more players to make the money work. Haynes also mentioned that draft compensation is an ongoing talking point for the Nets, but they reportedly wanted the Lakers to take on the contract of a veteran sharpshooter, Joe Harris, who is owed $38.6 million over the next 2 years. The Lakers would prefer Seth Curry, who is on an expiring deal and only making $8.5 million next year. If the Lakers were able to grant the Nets' request for significant draft compensation and a willingness to take on Joe Harris's contract, the money would work in a Irving for Westbrook deal. But according to Haynes, the Nets are not expected to be rushed into a deal and will continue conserving the complex specifics with the Lakers and a Irving Westbrook swap. But after even all this news and ruckus on NBA Twitter and free agency, Adrian Wojnarowski just dropped the bomb and has stated in his recent show that the Lakers aren't even interested in Kyrie Irving at all and they aren't aggressively pursuing for him. Listen to Adrian Wojnarowski.
So we're going to talk about his teammate next, Kyrie Irving. A lot of noise has been made about him. What's his future looking like?
Yeah, it's similar to Durant, I think a very slow-moving market right now. I think certainly, unlike Kevin Durant, I think there's a limited number of teams where it might make sense. I do think there's going to be teams who would like to do deals for him. It's different than the sign and trade he tried to get. That's where teams would have had to have signed him for multiple years. He's essentially on an expiring contract. And I think teams who just need to improve their talent and can take some risk with Kyrie Irving. The Lakers have yet, I'm told, to be aggressive in trying to put a deal together to get him from Brooklyn. That may come, that may evolve with time, but so far right now, there's no traction really on deals with either Irving or Kevin Durant. They'll develop over time, but listen, both of these processes could play out, and they don't have to trade either. They're both under contract. They could bring them back to season. I don't think that's the ideal scenario for Brooklyn. I think it's try to find a way to get the biggest haul of assets they can. But again, there's a lot of time left in this offseason and a lot more talks that are coming.
With all these accolades that these two players have, the one thing that they haven't done, come on SportsCenter. Good thing we got Woj. Thank you, brother.
The Lakers have yet, I'm told, to be aggressive in trying to put a deal together to get him from Brooklyn. That may come, that may evolve with time, but so far right now, there's no traction really on deals with either Irving or Kevin Durant. They'll develop over time, but listen, both of these processes could play out, and they don't have to trade either. They're both.
So you guys heard it right there from the man himself, Woj, and I completely agree and I believe him because I can definitely see a scenario this offseason where nobody gets traded from Brooklyn, nor does Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving, and they just, stay the course of the season and it goes from there. But I don't think that the Lakers are actively trying to make this deal. In my opinion, I believe the Lakers are set on Russell Westbrook, and especially with this new coach, they have a new game plan for him. And I don't see this trade going down, especially since, they want to take that Seth Curry contract up. So, yeah, that's basically the news, that the Lakers aren't aggressively trying to pursue him. Obviously, reports have came out that, LeBron James would love to play with Kyrie Irving, but who wouldn't want to say that? Obviously, we know every team is basically in trade talks for Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving too. So I'd love to see the LeBron Kyrie thing end up back in LA as kind of like a reunion, but it just isn't likely at this point, and all the experts are going to that take as well. And obviously this deal, the Nets want to move Joe Harris, and with 2 years left on his contract and $38.6 million remaining, obviously Joe Harris is coming off the ankle injuries, but the Lakers are trying to push for Seth Curry instead, so it doesn't appear that a deal, was ever even going to happen. But at this point, if the two sides are this far along in discussions, it may not be a long time before Irving is reunited with LeBron and ultimately ends up wearing the purple and gold. But let me know in the comments section, do you guys believe that this news is true, or is Kyrie Irving just going to stay with the Nets up until the next season? With all that being said and all this crazy news happening, obviously the Durant situation is still going on. There's still no clear image to where he's going to be going. Obviously my last video was made about him possibly going to the Raptors, but the Miami Heat and Phoenix Suns are still very well in this conversation. So let me know in the comment section both of your opinions. Obviously the first opinion being on Kyrie Irving and this whole Lakers situation, and then Kevin Durant, and where do you guys think that he will ultimately end up. But to end off the video, the support has been unreal. Like my last video almost has 10,000 views. You guys are killing it with the likes, so make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on the bell to stay updated with NBA free agency. And with all that being said, man, can't thank y'all boys enough. I'm out. Peace.